गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉर्ट में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today we're going to talk about India's unstoppable rise. But before that, sorry I got delayed by about half an hour because there was a power outage. And if before you think the power outages are common in Chennai, they're not normally common. But I'm staying next to a place where a major metro junction is coming up. In fact, the metro junction is just about a minute away from my house walk at the corner of my street. So next time you want to come anywhere, Chennai, just let me know. I'll guide you. It's as simple as that. But that's 3 years away because they've just started to dig and all that. So occasionally there is power outage. I have to live with it. And the second thing which I want to share with you, and this is this. What you hear this? This is called the Sengol. And the Sengol yesterday was gifted to me by Shreya Ayerji of P Gurus. We had a couple of nice recordings yesterday in a studio, and that will be out later, either tonight or tomorrow. But I just thought I'll show you the Sengol. So you see in my background the Sengol, the Indian flag, the Ashoka pillar, and of course the Field Marshal, our Field Marshal. Not the fake one, the man who won Bangladesh for us, the man who created Bangladesh. That's my backdrop. That's India for you. Okay? And those of you who don't know what Sengol is, well, read about it. It's in our parliament. And this Sengol was put in a new parliament by a prime minister when it was inaugurated. Right. Now let's get back to our topic of the day. India's unstoppable rise. Okay, look at my cartoon. USA and China are just looking up. They have no choice. And I'm going to prove it why. And we're going to prove it to ourselves why. And of course, look at this idiot here. Who's this? Right? He can only look up and keep yelling and ranting, and he can't touch us. Right? That's what I thought I'll put across. Why? Because there's no more talk. Without USA, your GDP will go down. And you go to China and this and that and all that. India can't be stopped. That's my conviction. I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of my material is a repetition, but you need that kind of repetition to understand what India is. And India can't be stopped not because of Prime Minister Modi, not because of some great leader we had or didn't have. It's because of people like you and I, the common people, the common man of India who has worked hard for India, who has made India what it is. And it's that common man in India who's our strength. And that common man can never be let down. But let's see what this common man has done. We'll talk of it. First and foremost, let's see what this man has done, the uncommon man. He's trying to create a new world of disorder where he's broken international institutions like the WHO, IMF, NATO, and riddled the world with tariffs. Right? You whether him. He's probably the most disruptive politician or the political leader in recent times internationally. Probably one after the most disruptive after that breed of the last century called Hitler, Mao, Stalin. Right? And who had their own worldview and their own view of how to bring their countries up. And he's not finished, he's just started. Okay. The rules-based order defined by international institutions is broken. And there's nothing to replace it. And this man is putting up hardly any institutions even for his own country. Whether he'll do well for his country or not is to be seen, but he's definitely not doing well for the world. That I don't think we have doubts. Even if he's doing well for the world, it doesn't matter. He's not doing well for India. And I doubt if he can do any more for India. There are ongoing conflicts all over the world. We're living in a world where there's so many conflicts. If you go to any conflict track, all these marks on this map are all conflicts. And we are worried mainly about the Ukraine conflict, the West Asian conflict. It's still on, it's not gone anywhere. Iran is not gone. Israel, Gaza is on fire. Israel, Yemen is on fire. Okay. South China Sea, every day something is happening. And we have our own problems next door: Pakistan, China, Myanmar, Bangladesh. And it is in this chaos that we have to grow. Global growth is divergent and completely uncertain. The tariff war is raging. It's not going anywhere, right? And it is in this context you have to understand what India is all about. This is the fastest growing economies in the world today in 2025. India, China, Saudi, yeah. But Chinese growth is fake. They say 4%, but I don't think. And the Chinese growth could be as less as -2 as per certain estimates. I'm not talking about my estimates, international estimates. Max 4% as per their own estimates. It's cratering. People are talking of deflation. But then people say, look, India can grow at 6 to 7%. This 6.7%, it might go down to 6%. It can grow at 6%, 7%. But the Chinese economy is so big, even if it grows at 2%, or the US economy is so huge, even if it grows at 2%, it's much more than what India can grow. I agree. I agree. But in the law of physics, that's mass. And physics rules. You can't wish physics away. And that's what I want to tell you. India has the momentum. And momentum is mass into velocity. And there's something called kinetic energy. It is mass into velocity, half mv squared. India has the velocity. People don't understand it because this is complete the way armies function. Armies believe in momentum, armies believe in kinetic energy. You have to think like a military man to understand what's happening in India. In this in the world, you have the momentum, you have the kinetic energy. And that is more important to me than having a mass. It's like a obese man. China is like an obese man with short legs. And USA, as I put it in Putin's words, when he's, or someone else who said, look, Trump is looking a tired man. Yeah, that was Bill Maher. Looking tired. Not India. India is going strong. The force is within us. I've used this, the force is with us. Star Wars. You have to think Star Wars. And when you say force, I have to link it with physics. What is force? Mass into acceleration. What is acceleration? Rate of growth. What is mass? 1.4 billion people. The force is with us. If people understand this, the rest is simple. The force is with us. Why is India's rise unstoppable? Germany, Japan, and China last century were broken, completely broken. Germany and Japan at the end of Second World War broken economies, but they were aided by USA. Germany by the Marshall Plan, and Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, all three are rich economies today. They were aided by USA. Well, people don't recognize it, but I look at it as a MacArthur plan. They had a peace dividend. Germany from 1944 and Japan from 1944. So with Korea, from 50s, 56. And Taiwan ever since. They've had the peace dividend of over 75 years. No wars. Complete support of the superpower at that time, the richest nation on earth at that time. They had to grow. China was chosen in 1971-72 to be aided. After 79, the last war with Vietnam, they have not had a war. They eschewed war and they grew. 79 to now, 50 years, 55, right? 56. They've had a peace dividend. Look at India. Have we had a peace dividend at all? Throughout our history, we've been an opposed economy. No one wanted us to grow. Even now, people don't want us to grow. And these barriers to growth are external and internal. Internal barriers have been injected. Some self-made because of the way we are. But that's to be expected in a great democracy like ours. We have had wars. 48, 62, 65, 71, a proxy war spanning 3-4 decades. In fact, right from Naga insurgency, Kashmir, Punjab, Naxalism, the Red Corridor, the Radical Corridor, the 0.5. Someone asked me, so what is this 0.5 threat? That's the 0.5 threat. Insurgencies, Northeast, Punjab, Kashmir. Then the Kargil War, Op Sindoor, in between Balakot. We've always been having conflicts. Doklam, Eastern Ladakh. We've been through multiple sanctions. People don't even know. You've gone through sanctions after the 74 peaceful nuclear explosion. Then you were slapped with NPT. You were put under the MTCR. You were under the nuclear sanctions after the 98 blast. Katsa, when you were acquiring the S-400, the threat. We didn't know what to do. Tariffs now. Is it new that sanctions come? Sanctions, but they've come. We've gone through natural disasters, glacial outbursts, cyclones, super cyclones, tsunamis, earthquakes, Latur earthquake. Who's forgotten? The Gujarat earthquake. Have you forgotten that? The destruction of a huge variety. Andhra super cyclone, Odisha super cyclones. The entire east coast of India has been battered by cyclones and tsunamis. The Himalayan region by mudslides, glacial outbursts. Look what's happening today in Uttarakhand and in Himachal and even J&K. Forget what it's attributed to, whether it's climate change or not, but it is happening. None of this has happened in other places. They've not had to battle nature the way we've battled. And have come out. When people say, why is your infrastructure not ready? Not great like China. China is going through it incidentally. That I'll do in a separate episode. Every time we built, nature has been against us. We fought it. We fought it. Natural disasters. That's the one. And barriers, internal barriers. Yet, despite all this, we are the fourth largest economy. Yet, despite all this, we are growing at an unprecedented rate. You think China and USA will stop us? We are probably the only country which has overcome all odds and gone ahead. That realization people don't seem to have when they yap. In this process, India, when I see the India when I was in school, college, in NDA, and in service in the early part to now, I see a great unity. There's a cultural unity, or music, or dance, or arts. They're melded. Once upon a time, the art and culture and music scene in South could not connect itself with in the North. Today, it's seamless. We are proud of the way things are happening. Dress. I still remember in the South, people would not wear a salwar kameez or a kurta pajama, especially ladies. You go out anywhere in Chennai, not even Chennai, go anywhere deep down south. You will not find many ladies wearing saris too. That is unity. I could never think of anyone accepting Hindi in these parts. People do. When I went to a Kendriya Vidyalaya in Chennai, they used to call it a Hindi school. Today, Kendriya Vidyalayas in Chennai are the most sought after institutions for study. How do you explain Haryana having Telugu as their second language or one of their main languages after English and Hindi? A lot of things have culinary habits. You go anywhere in the north, you will get a dosa or a idli. I remember way back, wow, when was this? 98, 99, right? Not even that, 92. Going to the northeast, getting off at a place called Misamari. I don't know how many of you know that. I've been there. Misamari, the only within 40 kilometers of Misamari, there was only one place you could go and eat. And that place was a place in Misamari railway station, a dosa stall. That is the penetration. And from Misamari to Sela, the only food you could get was a dosa. How many people you know that? That's it. Everyone used to eat dosas when we used to go up at three different points. In a place like Tamil Nadu, no one knew what a tandoor was. Today you get tandoori. You go to Haldirams in Delhi, you will get 10 types of dosa. You get paneer dosa. We have united. Something which people don't understand. The politicians play for votes, but we as people should understand that we stand united. Okay. There's a lot of internal mobility in this country. People have come out. People go. Once upon a time, Northeast was, no one knew Northeast. But today you go to Northeast, you find people from all over. And yet the potential is not enough. You see people from Northeast today, everywhere. You see the airline industry, you see services. They're just taking over the services, the Northeast people. It's such a great thing. There's acceptance. I meet a lot of people from the Northeast here, and sometimes I speak to them in their language and they speak to me in Tamil. That's the change which is happening, and we need to understand. It unites people. There's reduction in strife. The last mile progress of infrastructure and connectivity is outpacing itself. I mean, you have to actually go out into the countryside to see this change. Those who are sitting in USA or anywhere outside, don't go by what is reported in newspapers. You have to travel to understand this. You have to travel into the countryside. You have to travel to various cities and understand. You have to go to tier 2, tier 3 cities to understand what's happening. How infrastructure is coming and how it is getting crowded out and new infrastructure is coming. Well, is it enough? No, it is not. I said we might not have the mass, but you have the velocity. There's an aspiration in the poor. The poor want. We have a lot of poor people in India. We are not rich, definitely, but they are aspirational. There's digital empowerment which you have never seen in your whole life. Yesterday, Mr. Sri Iyer and I were having lunch after our recording, and we had to pay. I didn't carry cash. Naturally, I don't carry cash these days at all. It's all on the mobile. So in that restaurant, I said, I hope I can pay. And that guy there, I found to my this thing. Can you imagine a person who was serving me was a Bihari in Tamil Nadu? I was speaking to him in Tamil. He was speaking to me in Hindi. I mean in Tamil. And then I realized this chap is not from the local place. So I spoke to him, where are you from? Bihar. So I started speaking to him Bihari type of Hindi. And he responded. Then I told him I don't have money. I only have this. He says, sir, today everyone has money. Has this. He says, don't worry. If you can't pay, you pay me, I'll pay them. Digital empowerment is happening. People trust you globally. We have education. We have acceptability. You can't be stopped. The people of India can't be stopped. Forget about Trump and this Xi Jinping and all these idiots. Do you know that we have the world's biggest diaspora? That's the most interesting part. When yesterday I was saying, what should I speak to all of you? This is it. Just think of this chart, it's a very interesting chart. And this is by Statista, so it has to be correct. In 2000, 25 years back, Russia had the world's biggest diaspora. You were at number 3. 20 years later, you are at the highest. China has remained static. Velocity. Please understand, velocity. You are acquiring mass and velocity. It's not as if your mass is stagnant. Your mass is increasing. You have the mass of the 1.4 billion. You have the mass of rate of growth, which is its own mass. You have velocity, you have momentum, you have the force. The force is within us. And it is being tapped in myriad ways which we don't understand. We have to just look around. And we have the largest Indian diaspora. That's the interesting part. Look at this. Anywhere. And where we are maximum in USA, UAE, nothing in China. No one goes to China. And you think that's a superpower? Can you imagine a place which no one goes to? And you'll say, sir, no one comes to India. Yeah, I was reading a nice story today morning about an Irish man and an American who've been in India for 20 years. So every year they go with their children to Ireland and USA and come back. And their children, when they come back to Chennai, they say, look, it's good to be home. Things are changing. Because we don't offer what they or other countries offer. We offer something far different. Yeah, we have our back. We have huge problems. That doesn't mean, uh, we're at the pinnacle of everything. We have huge problems. We'll talk of it. I'm not going to shy away from our deficiencies. Look at the inbound remittances. What it was, inbound remittances for the past 7, 10 years, highest in India. You look at China, inbound remittance. This tells you a story. This tells you a story how acceptable you are, how trusted you are, how our people are performing, how educated they are, everything. And I'm one person who doesn't uh, people say, oh, diaspora, people are running away, you will get educated here, go contribute there. Go contribute wherever you are, contribute to the world. When you contribute to the world, you're winning for India. You'll come back. In some form or other, India will become richer. I have no doubt about it. And you see the rate of, look at, we compare ourselves with China. Look at China. They had an inbound remittance in 2015 of $33.1 billion. It's gone down to 26. Yours has gone from 68 to 111. What a drop. And this is going to drop. This is going to continue to drop. This is a China which is getting isolated from the world, one way or the other. Isolated power. That is why they are coming to seek you. You don't know the hidden power of our own structures. Why do you think Wang Yi and Xi Jinping are running? Why do you think Trump is sending his most trusted character here? They know they've messed it up. Why do you think Nikki Haley is writing an article to say India is the most valuable, prized possession of USA? After all, she fought Trump for presidency. I've replied to her in Twitter. Have a look at it. We have to understand the depth we have. Our civilization is in this, in what I've spoken so far. Look at this. I keep telling everyone, I keep showing this picture to everyone. This is a picture or a cartoon, call it whatever, illustration by a Chinese guy of 3 years back. I keep showing this. I've changed, Biden's face with Trump's face in this. And I'll change it to the next guy. Keep changing the faces. But we are already there. We don't recognize it. Others don't recognize it because it doesn't suit them to recognize us. And we don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to go and say, I'm a superpower. Let me tell you something. This is my own personal experience. 2008. I was in the National Defense College course, a class on transborder migration, humanitarian affairs, and things like that. A lot of talk at that time. There was one lady, a Portuguese lady, who was from a UN agency who was looking after all these affairs, who was speaking to us. And the discussion veered to the fact that, look, For some reason, it came to that. Is India a superpower? When will India become a superpower in the place of other superpowers? And she surprised me. She said, look, all of you are Indian Army officers. I mean, officers of the Indian Armed Forces and Government of India. I must tell you, I consider India as already a superpower. She says it's not a matter of whether it's a matter of your economy or your hard things or all that. She says India accepts people. She says in the process of migration and refugees and all that, what India has done, I have seen no other country do. All these countries only accept migration when it is to their benefit. It is only India which gives. And that is why India is loved. Not my words. And it set me thinking from that day, what are we? Why do we give Afghans? Why is Afghanistan, which had Taliban, which was against us, yeah, whoa, all that? Afghanistan was a place where I lost one of my best friends, Brigadier Ravi Mehta. He was our DA. One day there's a bomb blast. He and another diplomat were just blown away. I'm still in touch with his son. His son is an Air Force officer, a fighter pilot. He grew up in my arms. What happened in Afghanistan? At that time, we were dealing with an Afghanistan dominated by Pakistan. It's changed. You want to deal with Pakistan? I always said, deal it with Afghanistan. They'll sort them out. And why do Afghans like us? Because their cricket team is here in Faridabad. You see the upcoming Asia Cup. What does the Afghan says? We have to play 2 matches with Pakistan. We'll defeat them both times. Well, you don't have to play with Pakistan to defeat them. Help Afghanistan. We have helped Afghanistan. That's just your second team to defeat Pakistan. Just translate this. Just translate this into something else. We don't have to fight with Pakistan. That's the difference. Oh, look, you're the all this we know, fastest growing economy, proven military ability. Sindoor. Why are people behaving the way they are after Sindoor? Because they suddenly realize you can't be stopped. You forget about all this nonsense. The hype which is going on. Info war, Pakistan says we have defeated you. Now people are realizing what has happened in Sindoor. Why do you think America? Now it is coming out very clearly. Noor Khan base, American people have been hit and killed. Whether you call them American private military contractors or this or that, or they've been hit and killed. Period. This is the quadrilateral I've always spoken of. Yeah, this quadrilateral. USA will always be the dominant power, but it's in Trumpian turmoil. Russia is a weak power. China is the aspiring power, but it's in decline. I maintain it. There's no doubt it is going to lose people. And a nation which loses its people is not a power. And I'll talk of this a little later. Today, there's more news about robots being made in China than babies. Understand this. There's an economic stagnancy. There's a political and military decline. They have the mass. They don't have the velocity. The momentum is not there. Stagnation. Only India, which is a growing power, which is emerging from its own reticence. We were a reticent power earlier. We are emerging. I've shown this attraction between US and India. Trump has diluted it. But will it restitute? To be seen. But we have relations which we cannot escape out of. We have to understand that. That is important to understand that India-US relations are beyond Trump today. And I've been thinking of it. Some people say, "Oh, you're a pro-USA general." I'm not a pro-USA general. I'm a pro-India general. But India, over the past 25 years, has developed deep relations with USA, and those are contractual obligations. They are treaties virtually in their own form. You have, whether you like it or not, you are in a treaty situation with USA. So you have to behave accordingly. You can't behave like a emotional fool like Trump. There's nothing transactional between India and US relations beyond a point. And you'll see this will change, and it will change very fast. But that's a different story. Let's look at this story in a different manner. Can US or Russia balance China? Sorry, can't. Right? I mean, one shouldn't have doubts about this. Right? Can Russia and China balance USA? No, they're not able to. There's no balance with this triangle. This triangle is daily changing shape. And Russia actually wants to get closer to USA in some manner, but it can't. They want to be considered a European power. The China India equations will remain strained, whatever rapprochement will happen between Xi Jinping and Modi. It is beyond them. Because it is the people of India and the people of China have no connect. We will not allow them to get closer. And I'll talk of it this a little later. Because it's going to come up and this will be a discussion next week. I will talk of it. Can US afford to take on China-Russia partnership without India? Yeah, Trump is discovering he can't. He doesn't have any capability to handle Putin beyond a point. Putin is running circles around him. In all this, everyone wants India. Russia says Russia, India, China. China says India, China, great partnership. Till yesterday, why yesterday? Even today, a lot of people in US are saying India US partnership is the greatest in the century, except Trump. And I'm getting some input to say that this fellow sent his guy to course correct India US relationship. You're on a pig's back, everyone wants you. How you play your cards is you actually freed yourself from many of these bandhans we had earlier. You must thank Trump for it. We've been learning from our own wars, and we are now a battle-hardened nation. Look at these wars we've gone through and conflicts we've gone through. Does war worry us? Whether it was 47, 65, 71, Kargil, Sindoor, anti-terror operations, proxy war, 62, that's with China. This one, 67, 84, Sundrangchu incident, Doklam, Eastern Ladakh 2020, 2022, Yangtze. We've had all these conflicts and wars in some form. I have not put Balakot in this or the Uri surgical strikes. We've learnt and evolved to be a tough fighting nation. We have centuries of warfare with us, going back to Ashoka and Cholas and Mauryas and Chandra, it's there. Except 62. Just think critically. Except 62. Have we lost one war or conflict? No. We are learning from others' wars. What do US say? Russia, Israel, versus Taliban, Ukraine, Hamas, all this we are learning. What are you learning? The stronger forces have always struggled against seemingly weaker ones. Why? The difference is the man behind the machine. The Indian man behind the machine will win the day for us. I've always maintained it. It's not me as a general who will win the war for India. It is the Natta Singh and Venugopal Swami who's sitting with a machine gun in a trench. He'll win the war for us. He will fight. He will fight to ensure the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the nation. He's never let us down. Then the question comes, are the armed forces of India modern enough to defend India? Yes, they are. We've got the most experienced armed forces. Besides this, space tech, we are up there. Nuclear technology, we are up there. Missile program, we are independent. Yesterday, we put that integrated air defense system. Shipbuilding, you can do. Gun technology, you are independent. Aircraft technology, you are independent. I wouldn't say independent, but you need engines. But rest everything you can, and something is happening about that. Communications, you've gone far ahead. It's not you don't lack technology. You don't have technologies. You have a hell of a lot of technology. We need certain technologies. I agree. And time to get it. And I think the government is on the way to get it. We'll get it because we got the momentum. If my prime minister tells me from the Red Fort that I want to get an engine, I want to get drones, I want to make Sudarshan Chakra, the force is with us. We have to be honest. Are the armed forces modern enough for a regional power, which is destined to be the third largest economy? Not yet. We have a long way to go. Like what Robert Brown said, the woods are dark and lovely and deep, and we have a long way before I sleep. That's something to that. I'm not a poet. You need to do balanced modernization. You need to have balanced modernization, capability enhancement, which will take you to that status of a regional power. I'm still not saying we are a superpower, regional power. Let's be balanced in our outlook and vision and where we want to go. Simultaneously, we should not lose time-tested capabilities. That will result in degradation. What is this modernization and capacity building all about? It's about adequate funding, the ability to spend, and what to spend on. You need to have the structure. Just not putting money in. You have to think through this. What is the structural modernization I'm talking of? You need to modernize the MOD, which is this. And let me be very honest, we are not. Theater commands. Your outlook has to be modernized. Are we there? No. In fact, in my own way of thinking, we stumbled somewhere on this, even during Opsendur. And one of these days, I'll talk of it. What about technology infusion? We're running after technology, but the best technology is one which wins you the war. Not the latest technology. If that's what Opsendur proved, the technology which we had won the war for us, hence it's the best technology. Improve on it. You need military diplomacy. Normal diplomacy is gone. If you are a big power, you need military diplomacy. Major militaries, they need a huge quotient of military diplomacy. You need equipment modernization in absolutely great quantity. You need strategic communication, which we've been speaking of. You can't lose existing capacities. You need to re-look at this Agniveer scheme. Why I'm looking at Agniveer scheme again and again? The man behind the machine has to be good. Our politico-military equation has to be great. The connect between politicians, bureaucrats, military has to be good. Otherwise, what the Prime Minister has spoken from the ramparts of the Red Fort won't be achieved. And this, we have a problem with our multi-front external and internal asymmetric challenges. We have this. Why am I putting this? Because this is something which General Kandare and I spoke of in a big program. Today morning, just before I spoke, I've released this again. I did this a month back. I put it out again. I put the link also in this video. Have a look at it. I'm not going to spend time as to how do we overcome that. I've left it to Vinod Kandare to speak all that. And he's spoken beautifully. You want to know how to handle that, look at it. He's going to talk completely differently from what I've spoken. I do hope all of you have liked this. If you like it, press the like button. Subscribe to Gunner Shot and join Gunner Shot as a member. Again, have a look at my backdrop. This is what I feel I'm part of. I'm proud to be part of. I have the Sengol here. I have my Ashoka pillar. I have my national flag. And I have my inspiration. This is the background against which I live and I think. Right? I'm proud of being an Indian. Are you one? Are you proud? If you're not an Indian, are you proud of your nation and what you are and what your nation represents? And would you like to represent your own nation with pride? The pride which I have in my nation. I do hope you have that kind of pride for your own nation. And if you're from other nation, would you like to be a friend of the Indians? And if you're from Pakistan, well, all the best. Before you become a friend of the Indian, be a friend to yourself. Because the best Pakistani is one today who's destroying himself. And if you're a Chinese, all I can tell you is you're a disappearing race. You and your communist friends and your communist setup have ensured that the Chinese culture, civilization is disappearing. Stop yourself from doing that. All the best. Right, with this, I'll take a few questions. Okay, Favan, morning. How are you? And Hans, also morning. Shiv Kumar, thanks a lot for joining. And Ramki, thanks a lot. Yeah, why are a set of people supported by global anti-India haters like DGT, AM in gang? They can't do anything. That's what I've told you. Yeah, I think I've explained. Was just watching your discussion with General Kandare. Are we ready to effectively counter and overcome asymmetric warfare so that our rise is really unstoppable? Cyber, don't worry about it, Shiv Kumar. That's what I will tell you. The improvement which has happened over years in our own system is phenomenal. Have confidence in ourselves. We'll get over it. Don't worry. Yeah, good morning, Shankar Garu. Thanks a lot, Arthur. Sundram also morning. Mrs. Claire, Jai Hind. Karthik, good morning. Sylvia, good morning. Dental Racine, good morning. Aditya, also good morning. Kiran, good morning. Yeah, Gautam, thanks a lot. Glad to have got the live session as just it was honored. Ladybird, Haru, also good morning. Ashok, good morning. Mary Care, nice hair in cartoon. Yeah, talking about Trump. Okay. Smoking Panda, good morning. Sir, to be a superpower, we need more access to natural resources. Our recent claims about finds of oil and Andaman gold, rare earths, and all accurate. A lot of it could be true, a lot of it could be hype. But look, it's not just resources. We need the right thinking. And we'll be there. Don't worry. India has got hell of a lot. We need to just work hard. Don't worry about it. US, he has heavy military in Mexico. Oh, that's okay. Let them be there. We'll talk of that some other day. Why does the Indian diaspora and US have not raised their voice? Yeah, that's a very interesting question, Pramod. And I've spoken to a few people. It's like this. There are a lot of Indian diaspora who are not interested in politics. They're happy being what they are. The people who are interested in politics earlier were divided between Republican and Democrats. But a lot of people today have switched or swung more towards the Republicans. And unfortunately, Trump is a Republican and they're disappointed. So many of them are a bit sheepish, if I may say. And some of them are, they don't want to talk. So I think we have to give them the space to restitute, leave it. Okay. Why is Venezuela? We'll talk some other day. We are talking today. Yeah, the real field marshal, I met him as a child way back in 2005. My dad walked up to him in Delhi's Khan Market and he was kind enough to talk to me. I was just a kid, but he was so kind. Let me give you my own experience. You know, when we were doing the staff college in Wellington, uh, every year the field marshal would talk to us. And otherwise, you know, also he used to come to the hospital and just sit and talk to young officers like us who are doing the course and our wives and our children. And at some time he'll walk in, in the golf club. Sometimes he used to walk in and when Tambola was on in a club session and all. We were quite common with each. He came that year to talk to us. It was an annual event affair that he would talk to the course. And when he spoke, uh, the ladies were also there. And after the talk, he would speak more to the ladies than to the officers. He said, I don't want to speak to these fellows. I want to speak to these beautiful young girls. And this was, mind you, I'm talking of 1991. So we were there, and I still remember my wife and all my friends and their wives. We are all old people now. All these ladies spoke to Moneksha. And for the next 2-3 days, the discussion was only about what they discussed with Moneksha. They were so impressed. We were left in the corner. Your husband na to kahin nahi jayega. I spoke to Moneksha. So that was a impact he had. Right? So that's it. And of course, I met him many times otherwise also. Yeah. From Grump Trump. From Grump Trump, yeah. Why the Indian diaspora and US need heed to the clarion call of Ma Bharati, return back, make. Don't get into that everyone should come back. Let people go. The more people go out, the more space is created within India for people to come up. That's one of the things you need to understand. When people go out, you go out up the value chain internationally and you create space internally for more people, opportunities come up. So don't worry. Okay. Canada is all about immigration and our growth here is fake. Unemployment claims are over 12%. It's a complete, that's okay. These are normal things which will happen. Humor, sir. Coincidentally, our latest IADWS tested 30-kilometer laser defenses officially, ushering us into the Star Wars age of warfare. The force is indeed strong. Yeah. Yeah, India's nature is to consume. I agree with you. Right. Okay, let me see. I don't completely agree with this momentum and velocity thing. Which one could cause more impact? A good train hitting a car versus well, Prem. You have to understand what I'm talking. This is a thinking. You can always critique me. I have no problem. Right? This is a negative way of looking at life and a positive way of looking at life. So we have to think. Okay. And at the same time, I have not lost my feet. That's why I said I've done a full program on the problems which India faces. See that. But you have to understand what is happening. I don't know how old you are, right? I don't know how old you are. I'm talking to you out of my experience. I've seen India change. I've seen India change. You must understand, okay? I retired with the pension at the highest scale the government can give me. If I do nothing, I'll be happy in my life and I have more money than I need. But when I started my career, my pay as a armed forces officer was just 450 rupees. Grade 1 officer. Okay. A grade 1 commissioned officer. 450 rupees. We could hardly afford anything. Till I had about 4 5 years, most of us, we used to go only in cycles. We couldn't afford a scooter. Forget a car. It wasn't till I had 13 years of service when our son was born, I had to take a loan and buy a second-hand Fiat. And today I see youngsters who just got commissioned buying brand new cars effortlessly. Gives me great joy. You don't know the momentum which you don't understand the momentum which is there in India. Of course, if you're my age, we can have a discussion some other day. So, fun fact, India grew 10 times from 2000 to 25 with recent better policies. Even if we aim for the same or less, 7 to 8 in the next another 22 years, isn't that exaggerated? I fully believe in Viksat Bharat. It's not a fun fact, it's a actual fact, Amanjot. It will happen. I have no doubt in my mind. Yeah, right. Look, Viksit Bharat will go down the drain if Congress come back to power. A developed India is not suited. Vijay, I would like you to think a little differently. Okay. Also, let me give you a slight political opinion. At this point of time, the Congress party is beset with a lot of problems. There's no doubt. And I don't want it to come back in power. I would not, if given a choice between BJP and Congress, I would like to vote for BJP today, but not necessarily tomorrow. It's not the best thing to say that Congress people are not good and all that. Why? As a democracy, we need a national alternative, and Congress is our national alternative. One. And it is, you need that. It is my hope that the Congress party, some reform takes place, good leadership comes up, and we have an alternate system to the BJP. If you don't alternate system to the BJP will get corrupted. Understand this. Similarly, that is how the Congress party got corrupted. After all, the foundation of what we are today was laid by the Congress party. Accept it. The BJP didn't lay this foundation. The BJP is building on this foundation. That's the hard fact. You might agree with it, not agree with it, but this is the hard fact. This is the evidence. You might say the Congress didn't do its job well. Fine. You might say it did well, depending on which side of the political uh, thing you are. That's also fine. That's debatable. Is the BJP the best government India has had? That's also debatable. It's up depending on which color you of specs you wear. But the fact is, you need an alternative. So please Don't give your personal viewpoint here. I like this party, I like that party. We need both parties for a thriving democracy. If you are to be a thriving democracy, I cannot be a one party system. Then you are a communist. Yeah. Indian diplomats in DC need to engage more actively with, yeah, I agree with you. There's no doubt. Aren't we able to solve basic issues like cleanliness? It will happen slowly. We are a nation which, of so many people with so many divergent ideas and all that. And if we, as an individual, we have to contribute to whatever best we can do. That's what I would suggest. Yeah, Rajiv was showing the 400-year chart of rise and fall of empires and put us on the rising chart. Yeah, I agree with you. Right, that's from the book called Rise and Fall of Empires by Kennedy. Good one. Yeah, I just ate dosa. Jai Hind. Yeah, that's good. Uh, no, there is not a single place in Delhi that sells good dosa or South Indian breakfast, though. I don't agree with you, Rohan. Just go to the Andhra Bhavan. You'll get very good food, right? And you go to Karnataka Bhavan, right, in South Delhi, near the South Delhi campus. You'll get fantastic dosas even now, and there are other places also. Yeah, your description of India's cultural integration made me emotional. I'm a Kashmiri Pandit. My community is spread across India. Today, I'm as much as a Kashmiri as I am Marathi, Tamil, or Rajasthan. Yeah, actually, this you given a great point. We know what happened to Kashmiri Pandits in the 90s because of terrorism and all. But many of them have relocated to other parts of the country and they become part of the that fabric of that state where they are. The same thing happened when a lot of Punjabis came from Pakistan, Punjabis and Sindhis, who came from Pakistan to India at that time. They thrived here, and they are now today they are indistinguishable from the rest of the country. That's it. We overcame many adversaries, but we still lack a strategic vision. I don't agree with you. Our vision is different from the strategic vision of others. Our vision lies in our ability to live together and prosper together, and largely driven by Hinduism. Why Hinduism? Because that's the most dominant, uh, religion in the country in terms of numbers. That the vision of India is largely guided by the vision which is there in our scriptures. That's a fact. Okay. And I'm not talking of and this Hindu uh, vision has been strong enough and large hearted enough to absorb other cultures and other religions and let them also thrive. You read this book by Kaplan, Robert Kaplan, of Revenge of Geographies. Okay. He explains it well. Yeah, I think this is a very good way. India is like a woman. Women naturally have more illnesses, but they withstand them and develop a strong immune system, living longer. I think very well put. That's why we called Mahabharati. There is a rising anti-immigrant sentiment, especially in racism against Indians. In Ireland, a small girl of Indian origin was beaten. People need to become strong. These problems will happen everywhere. It's not as if foreigners are treated well always in India. These incidents will happen. But I'm talking on the larger construct. Yeah, you're right. We are power in numbers. I agree with you. Uh, with USA taking a negative stance, a change in position vis-a-vis China, we will have to steer a maze of uncertainty as developed China. It's not China is not developed. It poses a serious challenge. I think most of us recognize how to deal with it. But let us see how things roll out. We'll talk of that tomorrow, day after. The cartoon of great powers pulling out the world is in tune with the Arthashastra, in which Bharat is the lower right petal of the four petals, lotus representing the world. China is the upper right. Let's see. Okay. Anyone new? After momentary lapse of sanity, sanity will get back in USA. Whether it takes 4 years or more is a mood. Yeah, I agree with you. It will come back. Don't worry. Bharat Extreme, Jai Shri Ram. Yeah, Subramanyam, we created Bangladesh. Yeah, how many countries create another country and let it go? We did that. Maybe we did it too much. That's why, where it is, Bangladesh. As an American, India is a superpower. I hope that Trump, that orange con who worked around to finish his full term, and when Democrat hope take the Congress back and make him a lame duck. Let's see where we go, Ernesto. I understand your sentiment. We are proud of our forces. So am I, and so am I proud of my country, and so am I proud of my countrymen and women. Or deal with France is a phenomenal move. I agree with you. Yeah, sometimes you learn more from losses than wins. I believe 62 was that for India. I agree with you. You'll be surprised. Between 62 and 65, we were spending 3.5% on our defense. We lost 62 and won 65. Within 3 years, we could come up. That's the power of India. Everyone talks of 91, how we came up. But the real story is in 62. So the mass existed 10 years ago, but the velocity was missing because external force set an object in inertia into motion. Yes, I agree with you. The velocity has started today. Yeah. If we are sure of our military power, can we not unleash our domestic potential? Why do we maintain fault lines, weaken our justice? We are okay, don't worry. These are struggles which you have to carry on. And I'm sure now after this, we see India also changes only when there's an incident. This incident has happened. Like I said, Trump might lead us to many things more. Be patient. It will happen, Arun. PM is the real culprit. He's a bloody CIA agent. Everything he has so far done helps US. This is a political statement. I don't think you're right. There's no prime minister who can be a CIA agent. Get off that high horse. Okay. All this talk one has heard about all PMs. So you have to have faith in our own leaders, whether they are your own from political view or from your opposition. Believe it that they are working for the best interest of the country. Whether they're good or not is a different story. Have, have that faith in your political leadership. Nalini Deka, wonderful. Thank you. Very inspiring. Thanks a lot. Yeah, send it to all your friends. They need it. Yeah, right. Sudhakar, thanks a lot for becoming a member. Uh, Thank you for the dose of optimism and inspiration. Thanks. That I said nothing much new. It's the fact. Your thoughts on expansion of defense exports. I've already done a program on that, many. Have a look. I've done it already. Many Indians don't know what they have. They can be proud of their bravery, culture, intelligence, inventions, civilizations, etc. I completely agree with you. It takes someone like Sylvia to tell us what we are. You have to look at it from outside. People who look at us from outside are envious of what we can be. Is reverse brain possible? Yeah, it will happen. Don't worry. Whenever we have to happen, it has to happen. It will happen. Don't you think US will get isolated in upcoming years? No, it will not happen. Don't worry. I think a problem is our society's awareness. They saw Western media propaganda and undermine the Indian military strength. Relax, Prabjot. Everything will go well. I am very confident. Look, coming from where I am to where we are and where we are going, I see a continuity. That's why I spoke of this, because a lot of nonsense talk in the air. I'm not talking of today. I'm not talking of fifth generation engine. Not talking of a particular. I'm talking of a larger thing. I'm giving you what I saw when I was commissioned when I was a young man. What it is today. That's the thing. The change in this country is very rapid of late. Yeah, good morning. Wonderful session. India is already a soft power, will be a superpower soon. Yeah, it will be. It is already. Indian social media when? Oh, that's a point. I'm sure that people are working on it. Chugs US, thanks a lot for joining. Yeah, Amitesh, my Bharat is a great country, there's no doubt. But somehow it has not reached where it should be. That's okay. You have miles to go before we sleep, all of us. Okay. Illegals are using Hindu names in UP for fake IDs. Is the government capable or have intention of stopping this? Local people have to do it. Let's not leave everything to the government. Government can do what it wants, but the local people have to do it. Like if the locals decide they shouldn't have any illegals, they will not have. And all of us have to contribute to this. Hope you're coming for Jaipur Dialogues annual event. See you there. Yeah, I also hope, because it depends on my commitments. But I'll try and make it this time. Yeah, people who good intellectual thinking in Congress have been derailed by themselves. I agree. That's the problem with Congress. Their intellectual capacity has not come out. After all, they're also Indians, as good as those who are in BJP. I like your podcast. I come from defense podcast. I come from defense background. Thanks a lot, Ramayanam. Thanks a lot, Nagamani. KD Raya, thanks a lot. Namaskaram, KD Raya Garu. Yeah, I've read this Ashok about 5 or 6 times already. Growth of our country doesn't rest on party; it rests on people. That's very erudite and correct. Your analysis always to the point. Yes, we have to be. Otherwise, we'll go all over the countryside. Right? Yeah. When will we become self-dependent in technology like social media? Sometime ahead we will. I'm sure we are on the right path. The destination is not important. Huh? Philosophically, we speak. You'll get there one day. The path is more important. Soros and Democrats are more dangerous. Then let's not get into that. Let's do what is right. What about China in your mind? I've spoken so many times about China. I'll talk of China and India a little later. Yes, yeah. श्रीमान नमस्कारम. श्रीमान जी, थंबनेल में हमारे प्रधानमंत्री झंडे के ऊपर बैठे हैं. That look, it's a cartoon. Take it for what it's worth. Okay. One of the best blogs on Gana shot, it should be televised on Doordarshan. Forget about Doordarshan and all, Ravi Singh, Ranveer Singh. Sangarji, up, just send it to everyone, all your friends. Both China and US appear to be hindering India on the global arena. They can't stop us, Ernesto. Don't worry. Go where we are to. India must learn how to communicate and convey their points of view. They are highly pathetic communicators. Please change your style of content to communicate better. You all, ये ऐसे तो होंगे काफी लोग, right? Okay, yeah, communists are not proud of the nation. They have a psychological problem. Okay, with this, I think we've come to the end of the show. Thanks a lot. I'll be off for the next 2 days because, like I said, I'm going for a very important uh, congregation of military professionals in the Army War College at Mau. And I'll be off. I'll be back on Thursday. Till then, there will be programs which will come out. The recordings which I've done with Shreya Yerji will be on. Have a great time. Something new will be coming, but I'll be back live on Thursday. Till then, have a great time and Jai Hind to all of you.